Hi, guys, welcome back to Beyond the Score, where mindset meets sports because peak performance starts in your head. We are three aspiring sports and exercise psychologists. I'm Mansi Kulkarni.
Shruti Sagde.
And I'm Prathi Dedia.
So, guys, where are we tuning in from today?
Um, with the humidity in the air, I'm tuning in from India, from Pune.
Okay.
Let's go. I'm tuning in from Leicester.
And well, I'm in Coventry. So, if you've heard our part one, you know we geeked out about self regulation. And today we are going to continue where we left off and dive deeper into motivation and associated theories with it.
Excited. Okay, I have an example to start off the conversation today. We have a footballer. Let's call him Mr. A. He just got called up to the national camp. He's super talented. He has a
Hmm.
really big opportunity, but also what pressure, guys. He's 19 years old. He walks into camp. He's surrounded by all players that are senior to him. The coaches are watching his every move. Scouts are on the sidelines. This moment can either push Mr. A to give his best or leave him absolutely hesitating depending on what's happening inside his head.
And what if that flips the switch? Is it appraisal, deeper needs, or his gut reaction in the moment? I think that's where our three theories kick in. So I'm coming in with the most applicable one, which is TCTSA, that is the theory of challenge and threat states in athletes.
I see your confidence, but I will stand against it and I say self determination theory, which is SDT.
And I'll be flying the flag for art, the affective reflective theory. It's gonna be a fun conversation. So let's unpack the best theory there is, which is mine.
We'll see about
We'll
that.
see about that.
Okay. So from a TCTSA perspective, it depends on whether Mr. A sees the situation as a challenge or as a threat. As we discussed before, a challenged mindset would weave thoughts such as I have trained, I belong here, which will lead to efficient cardiovascular responses and a sharper focus in the athlete. So, on the other hand, the threat mindset would say, I can't match these guys, leading to a spike in his cortisol level and losing the efficiency in decision making. And according to research, athletes that employ the challenge mindset process information much more faster and may perform better under pressure. So, therefore, Mr. A's appraisal could literally affect his body and therefore his performance outcomes.
So it's basically an interaction between the mind, body, and the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I can see the gears in your head turning, Shruti, because I feel like you're taking it in the direction of SDT soon.
Yeah, I like the theory. It's close to my heart. Um, so SDT, which was given by the lovely Ryan and DC, it suggests that Mr. A's appraisal, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's shaped by his psychological needs, what they call the basic psychological needs, which are the basic mental and emotional things we all need to feel motivated and more confident. These three needs were autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So, to elaborate, we know this, but just to elaborate, um, if Mr. A gets to choose his position on the field, which suggests autonomy, like volition, his own choice, he feels skilled at executing certain tricky passes, which means he has a lot of self efficacy, a lot of self confidence, and he's competent enough. He has competence and he knows that his teammates have his back. He feels connection to them, he feels relatedness. He's a lot more motivated and a lot more likely to approach challenges more confidently. If these needs are not met, however, even a simple drill will feel like it's very intimidating. Moreover, there's a lot of research that suggests that athletes that have a want to motivation, if you've watched part one, you know what we're talking about. Athletes with want to motivation are driven by values and enjoyment, and thus they are more persistent, and they are a lot less burned out than those that have to motivation.
Hmm. I mean, we did cover have to and want to motivation in our last episode.
Hmm.
So, I mean, no shade to you. That is very, very interesting, having needs met and finding the want to motivation. But I view it a little differently from the art perspective.
Interesting to be
Dancing art है art.
आर्ट मैं कर सकती हूँ आर्ट है मोटिवेशन एक आर्ट है आर्ट
I'm gonna put
मैंने
that.
का बोला no है. Huh?
Okay, so from the art perspective or the affective reflective theory, which emphasizes and targets the micro moments, it suggests so the affective system in it would suggest thoughts like ugh this sucks, while the reflective system would maybe talk about it's my dream wala mindset. Every decision would be a mini battle between those systems. If his reflective system has fuel, he has energy. I'm talking in Mr. A's context. But if he is
Mhm.
depleted, the affective system wins, which explains why committed athletes sometimes procrastinate or skip their drills. So, and also research shows that effective conditioning, when paired with hard tasks and positive emotions, can make the ugh moments feel less aversive over time.
so art is like motivation lives not just in the big vision but in the tiny frictions of daily life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, which let's be honest, it can be a little tricky to follow sometimes. So, my friendly push to Mansi is that TCTSA sounds fab, but it doesn't really explain why Mr. A might see the camp as a threat in the first place. Isn't that where SDT steps in?
I mean, I do agree with you. It's true. TCT explains the state and not the source, and SDT comes in there, which can give a lot of insight into the motivational soil.
And
Right.
art could explain the gut reactions, the emotional bumps that block motivation.
Yeah.
Right. See, so that's exactly the point. These models don't have to come together. They compete, but that's how theory advances. These different perspectives, they highlight different aspects of motivation.
Yeah, so according to me, I feel no model is better. They are just different lenses shaped by beliefs and assumptions. So, some sports psychologists believe that you fit the person to the model, but on the other hand, some might believe you have to fit the model to the person. And that doesn't make any sports psychologist right or wrong. It's just that they bring their own personal flavor to their daily practice.
Completely agree. And shifting gears a little bit, if we were a sports psychologist, what would you actually do in terms of the perspectives you support right now?
Okay, so just like give me a moment. Okay, so yeah, from TCTA perspective, maybe A can be taught appraisal. For example, use imagery to help him frame big matches as tests of growth rather than threats of survival. And biofeedback can show him how his body can be controlled.
Mm.
Fair.
As
What about you,
someone that's
Shruti? What do you
competitive,
think?
as someone that's competitive, I hate to admit that you're right, but imagery is absolutely brilliant. But from an SDT perspective, I would suggest working with the coach. Maybe give Mr. A some input on his training plan, highlight his strengths in front of his team in order to increase his competence, and urge him to build connections. A supportive environment can transform the have to drills into the want to engagement.
Shruti, what about you? What if you were Mr. A's
I'm
sports
glad I'm the
psychologist?
last one to think about this because I needed the time. Um, from an art perspective, we would focus on the affective experiences. pair the hardest drills with the music he loves, or use routines that spark positive emotions, even small rewards like a favorite post practice ritual or something. And over time, his body would learn to associate training with good vibes. So I think it might reduce his stress considerably.
Very Pavlovian. But here's the catch. Different psychologists might use different techniques depending on the particular paradigm that they follow. Some focus on reframing threats, like Mansi spoke during TCTSA, some on supporting autonomy, like I did during SDT, and some on managing emotional reactions, like Prati very well mentioned with art.
Yeah. Right, that's absolutely correct. But at the end of the day, they're all targeting the same thing,
Hmm.
the athlete's growth, both in performance and his or her well being, and finding that intricate balance between the two, right? So far we've been talking about these theories, but let's zoom in on the kinds of motivation athletes actually run on, because come on, it's not one size fits all.
100%. For some athletes, intrinsic motivation, doing something surely out of the enjoyment and love for it, it works the best. Think of Roger Federer saying that he just enjoys the art of tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's a mix of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation for some. Like loving football, but also being driven by the pressure of national selection or contracts or leagues. That combo can also be powerful.
Absolutely. And then there are cases where athletes thrive on more maladaptive forms of motivation, like punishing themselves for mistakes or using their guilt or fear to push them harder. It can work in the short run, but some athletes even break records that way.
Yeah, and I mean that sounds great, but in the long term, that's quite dangerous
Yeah.
because constant self-punishment or over-reliance on external pressure, it's shown to lead to burnout, anxiety, injuries, that kind of stuff.
And that's exactly where a sports psychologist comes in to spot those patterns, tailor your approach, and create a healthier balance. The goal is always the same: performance outcomes and well being.
Absolutely. So sometimes athletes even believe adversity is their fuel. So I play my best only when I'm suffering. That can be true, but again, it's a very risky bargain if it chips away their mental health.
Right. And this particular balance between using what drives you and protecting yourself from harm is something we'll dive into in a lot of detail in the future episodes.
Yeah, because motivation is not just about pushing harder, it's also about making sure that the fuel you're using doesn't burn you out.
So whether you see it through TCTSA, STT, or art, each model stands on its own, giving us unique ways to understand athletes' drive and their performance.
Right. And the real key is balance. Performance and well being are not opponents, they are partners. They both need to be nurtured.
Absolutely.
And we, as aspiring sports psychologists, as we mentioned repeatedly during this episode, it's about helping athletes not just push harder, but push smarter in ways that keep them thriving for the long run.
Sentence, I just wanted to say that next time when we switch our gears and talk about something every athlete dreads, but most face at some point, is injury and rehabilitation, right? So I think we can talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting topic.
sorry.
And mainly because it's okay, mainly because if motivation is about, fueling performance, injury rehab is about redefining it. And that comes with its own mental battles.
So stay tuned because we're going to break down how the mind plays just as big a role in recovery as the
Let us know
body.
what you think in the comment section, and please share it with your family and friends and spread awareness about the field of sports psychology. Thank you.
And we promise
Yes.
to be more consistent with our content now on.
Now that we
Yeah.
have
Now
completed
that
our
we've
Also
dissertation.
remember
yes.
thing in the last video, but now we pledge to it.
And also, if you guys have any suggestions about the kind of content that we should put out there, and if you guys want us to talk about certain topics, please let us know in the comments or reach out to us on Instagram. We'll be sure to take your opinions into consideration.
So, see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.